welcome to Season 5, Episode 2 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, I've got I've got the big match of the season. York got promoted last season. My old club, York, I didn't get promoted. And the season after I left, they did come up. And today, in the live com, we are at home against York. It's the first time I've come up against them. I think this might be the first time I've played against an old club in this save. Because by the time I was York manager, Boston had been relegated. By the time I came to Exeter, they were the league above York. I don't think I've played Boston in the cups at any point, so I think this is the first time I've come up against an old club, and we're not in the best of shape. If we just run through the month that's led us up to this game, you'll see why I am a little bit worried that my old team are going to give us a bit of a stuffing. So that was the first game of the season. It was a live com in the last episode. We lost 2-0 away to Oxford. We looked rubbish. We were rubbish. Not a very good game at all. And things didn't get much better in the next game. Yes, it was a Capital One Cup game against Crystal Palace in the Championship, but they absolutely hammered us. It was 3-0. We never looked like getting into the game. We did rotate the team a little bit, but really, I don't know why I've got Crystal Palace on both sides of that. That's a bit weird. But we did rotate the team, but Jack O'Connell got sent off after 13 minutes, and from that point on, we never looked in it at all. Anton Forrester has then done his cruciate ligament, so he's out pretty much for the rest of the season. He was at the club last season and didn't score a huge amount of goals, but he's a very useful sort of support striker, and he's going to be a big miss. He started every game leading up to this. He was very much part of my plans, so now we're without him, which is a bit of a shame. But we did go into our next game at home to Hartlepool. We beat them 3-1, 2 goals from the Peg, from centre-back, and one from Lee Novak towards the end of the game. He actually scored just as I was substituting him. We played pretty well in that game. That was the best we've played on this new system, and we actually dropped Gale and Tilney back to be proper fullbacks and a proper back four for that game, and it seemed to make a bit of a difference. So I think I'm done with the experimentation of wing backs, and having spent all last season with 3 at the back and wing backs, it seems to have kind of morphed itself into a flat back 4, almost by accident. The next game we went away to Northampton. We lost 1-0, and for some reason, again, I've got Northampton on there twice. I don't know what I've done to these screenshots, but yeah, we were not very good. So we signed some players. Firstly, I've signed Denzel Boadu, 22-year-old attacking midfield player. Primarily plays as a shadow striker. That's his best position. That's exactly what we need. I'm hoping we stick him in that shadow striker position. He's going to start scoring a lot of goals for us, and I see him as a very useful replacement for Forrester, leaving us with Novak, Abika and Youngs to play up front. And, of course, it's me, so we signed another centre-back, Remy Street. I mean, this guy looks fantastic. He's been at Newcastle previously. I think he's been at Port Vale for the last few years. But just a fantastic centre-back. We've got so many really, really good centre-backs. I'm going to try and resist the urge to go to playing 3 at the back again. But when so many good centre-backs keep coming available, it's really difficult not to play them all. What I do need to do, though, I'm so happy with my defenders, I just need to stop conceding so many goals, and perhaps focus a little bit more on the attacking side of things, but really happy to have Street at the club. Didn't make any difference in the next game, which was away against Stevenage. Again, I've completely messed up the teams. I don't know how I've done that. I'll fix that before the next episode. But we went there, we lost 2-1. Wasn't really very good at all. The board are still pleased with my management. Obviously, it's a bit of a hangover from last season. They like the fact I got rid of Tom Platt in the closed season, but they're not happy with the result, particularly against Oxford. I'm not happy with any of the results, really. That's the highlights of the League 2 transfer window. As usual, we've spent more money than everyone else, £400,000. We've signed more players than anyone else at 10 players, so there's no excuses for our poor start to the season, really. We should be right up there as one of the better teams in this division, and we've certainly got the players to do that. So the fault is really falling on me as the manager for not creating the correct team from the players I've got at my disposal, which is a bit of a worry. Sacked by Christmas, I imagine. And that's the English transfer window roundup overall. So couple of big transfers there. Chelsea spent £105 million in the transfer window, but also sold 2 strikers for £50 million to Man United. So lots of comings and goings in the Premier League. And Sunderland signed 17 players. Although it says they're in the Championship, so I guess that's maybe Oh no, of course they are in the Championship. It's not just the Premier League, is it? So Sunderland signing a whole heap of players, and that's the league table as it stands at the moment. We're 19th place after 4 games. We've only won one and lost the other three. We're not just conceding loads and loads of goals. We've only got a -2 in our goal difference, but we need to reverse that situation and get back up into the promotion spots ASAP, especially because old Team York in their first season back in the league have had a complete opposite. They've got 3 wins and 1 defeat and they're up in 4th place, and I can't have them finishing above me. That just won't do. So this is the team that I'm going to be playing today. Tweaking it again, you know what I'm like. So we're sticking with the flat back four. There's no room for Street to come straight into the side because I can't decide. I can't drop the Peg or George Ray. I've got Jack O'Connell and Remy Street both on there as probably League One level centre backs, sat on the bench. So I need to rotate a little bit. But for the time being, I want to just play my strongest possible team today. We're playing York, and George Ray and the Peg. They're our best defenders. And then Cameron Gale and Ben Tilney as the fullbacks. I mean, that's a League One back four. A bit iffy about Christy Pym in goal, but he's never really let us down. He's just not particularly great. This midfield three is where we're changing things up the most because we have been playing a proper diamond, but I've decided to go for a flat midfield three and then a front three that has Trickett Smith behind Novak and Abika. The new guy, whose name I forget, the shadow striker we've just signed, has got himself injured straight away, so he's out for a few weeks. So Trickett Smith continues as the shadow striker for the time being. But the midfield three is Owen Garvin, Sam Foley, Marlon Pack. Again, that looks like a League One midfield. The doubts, as ever, are up front, where Abika's not really done anything since he came in. Novak's been disappointing since he signed, and Trickett Smith is struggling to establish himself as a starting player. So, I don't know. Should I be going more defensive? Should I be perhaps throwing Tom Youngs into the side? He hasn't been great since he came in. McManus the same. And I don't really have much in the way of attacking options outside of those guys. So we're just going to have to go with this and sort of see what happens, I suppose. So, media have got us down as the favourites for the game, which is good. York are playing a very, very defensive system, and interesting, a lot of my former players in that side. So, Tom Nichols, who was at Exeter last season, is their main striker. They've got Ryan Lloyd out on the wing, who I tried to get rid of while I was at York. Matt Breeze, who I had as my star man, is only on the bench. Berrett in midfield, he was there when I was. Tom Platt, who we sold in the summer, again is a starting player for them. Dion Conroy as well, Kieran Farrell, Eddie Nolan. There's a lot of players there who are going to have a point to prove against me, not just from my time at York, but because I binned them off when I was at Exeter as well. So, I mean, they're going to come here wanting to absolutely hammer us, and we need to try and stop that from happening. Yes, we're going to mark Tom Nichols and Ryan Lloyd because it's going to be awful if either of those score against us today. Yeah, we need to encourage the team, but I need to be passionate. Yeah, go out there and impress me. That wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Up front, yeah, we need quality finishing. Yes, you're motivated. Right, let's control the midfield as well. I'm on a roll now. That'll do. Right, let's go out there and beat York. For goodness sake, we have to beat York. But they've started passing the ball around really well. I'm hoping by moving to the flat three in midfield, we can sort of control that midfield a little bit. Ray to the Peg. Oh, it would have been nice to get an early goal. But yeah, the idea is to try and control the midfield a little bit because that with playing the diamond, we've often found ourselves struggling a little bit for numbers in midfield. I was going to do that. I didn't even see it. There you go. So let's take chances. I'm going back to my system of listening to the assistant manager a little bit because I've been ignoring him lately, and it's not. How are we still overrunning midfield? They've got one central midfield player. Cameron Gale has done brilliantly there, though, to finally Novak, and we're 1-0 up. Cameron Gale is just too good for us. I don't understand why he's still playing in League Two. There's not even anyone interested in him, but look at this. This guy's a right back, and he absolutely skins his player there and finds Novak in a little pocket of space, and that's a lovely goal. The only thing going against Cameron Gale is his age, I think, but he is a superb player. Right, we're 1-0 up. We just need to sort of keep control of the game from here. We've had 11 shots, and York haven't had a shot yet. It's all being set up for them to mug us a little bit towards the end of the game, I think. I'm hoping their front three are just going to find themselves really isolated. part of the reason for not wanting to have a deep lying midfielder in there. Just leave a big gap on the pitch for those three to be sort of disconnected from the rest of the match. It's not really turning out that way. Nichols has found the ball then. He's found Lloyd and, oh, George Ray, what are you doing? And they're going to get one back just on the stroke of half time. It's Barrett to take the penalty, who again wasn't really a regular starter in my side in the conference, but he's just scored for them in the Football League, and it shows what I know about football. Oh, it's games like this that make me wonder what I'm doing, because I clearly am clueless. We're 1-1 against my old club. It's half time. We need to do something. We need to do something quickly, or this is going to get embarrassing. Right, we need to get assertive. Yeah, we can still win today. We need to still win today. Right, come on. A defeat here, and I am worried for the future of this season, because we've had an awful start, and we should be able to beat the newly promoted side. Right, come on, lads. Enough messing around now. Why are we just not... I mean, we're not creating chances. Right, Foley to Pack, who finds Novak. Novak finds Trickett Smith, and that's 2-1. Excellent. That's Trickett Smith's first goal. Hopefully, that's going to give him the little bit of confidence he needs playing in that shadow striker position to go on and really make that position his own. But it's another really well-worked goal. Lee Novak getting involved again. I think he knows his place in the team is under threat. He's been here nearly a year now and just not lived up to the expectation. But he is having a good game today. Right, I'm starting to think about some substitutions. Owen Garvin's not having a great game. Pack's done really well there, though. Finds Foley. Back to Trickett Smith, who finds Ubika. And now Novak again, and he hits the post. Lee Novak, did he used to play for York? Or does he just think I'm a hero and wants to do it for me today? He's trying to win this game all by himself. He's playing like he's got a point to prove. Shame no one else really is. So I'm going to take Garvin and Ubika off just because they've both been really disappointing. So we're going to bring Chapman on for Garvin. And then we're going to bring Tom Youngs on for Jonathan Ubika. Tom Youngs, obviously the former York player. Perhaps I should have started him. He's going to have something to prove. He was York's top scorer last year as they got promoted. And obviously was there he was there on loan before I joined the club. I then signed him permanently. He wasn't great while I was there, but scored a lot of goals for them last year. I'd love it if he got a goal. That would make me look like the hero. But what's actually going to happen is Nichols is going to go and score for them, probably. We've kind of swapped strikers in the closed season. Right, I'm going to bring Remy Street on for his first appearance. He's going to come on for Ray. Just to see if he's any good, really. I feel like I probably should be going to counter-attacking, but I just can't bring myself to do it against York. And it's probably going to bite me now. Street does really well there. And Novak is through. A ball over the top from Marlon Pack. And somehow Novak's fouled his man. But he was through on goal there. And if that had been Tom Youngs, I would have expected a decent finish because he would have had the pace to get away from his man there. Whereas Novak looks like he's just climbed all over the back of him as he's lost ground. Tilney does well there, though. Youngs now with the ball over the top, but just can't beat his man. And now they're lumping the ball forward. This is all going a little bit League Two. It's not the way I like my teams to play. But Trickett Smith now trying to win from the big lumped through ball. And now Lloyd is in a good position to cross. Comes back to Farrell. These are both former players of mine. Chapman finds Lloyd. And what happened just there? That was just ridiculous. Oh dear. So Lloyd with the cross, Chapman just passes it back to him. It's a lovely 1-2 with Chapman. And then Lloyd just sort of scuffs a cross that hits the post. We don't clear up the rebound, and that was such a sloppy goal to give away. And that's ridiculous, and we've thrown this away. With absolutely horrific defending. I'm worried, because our defence should be our strength. And then stuff like that happens. 2 right, I'm far from pleased because that was ridiculous. Right, if you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on all the future awesome content. Thanks very much for watching.